The woman who accused Jay-Z and Sean Diddy Combs of raping her when she was 13 years old has dropped her lawsuit against both men less than 4 months after it was filed. Court records show that the suit was dismissed with prejudice, meaning the plaintiff cannot refile a suit. The suit included disturbing details of how the woman was allegedly lured by a limousine driver outside the 2000 MTV Video Music Awards and assaulted by the two rappers at an after party. Jay-Z strongly denied the claims, and his attorneys had been seeking to get the case dismissed. In a statement on Saturday, Jay-Z, Sean Carter himself, said the claims were, quote, frivolous, fictitious, and appalling, and called the suit a money grab. The statement continued, "I would not wish this experience on anyone. The trauma that my wife, my children, my loved ones, and I have endured can never be dismissed. This 1-800 lawyer gets to file a suit hiding behind Jane Doe, and when they quickly realize that the money grab is going to fail, they get to walk away with no repercussions. The court must protect victims, of course, while with the same ethical responsibility, the courts must protect the innocent from being accused without a shred of evidence." End quote. On Saturday, Combs' attorney said the suit dropped on Friday will be the first of many that will not hold up in a court of law. End quote. Jay-Z ain't that one. As far as I'm concerned, he did exactly what he was supposed to do. He didn't sit idly by and watch his name be raked through the coals and sullied the way that he did. Most of us would have. Most of us would have let our lawyers handle it. We would have shut up. We would have kept silent. He didn't do that. And I remember I was taking a lot of heat for coming to Jay-Z's defense. My initial question is, where the hell are y'all now? And to the people who have smiled in Jay-Z's face, who were supposed to be his friends, who were supposed to be supportive of his, where y'all at? Where y'all at? Let me be very, very clear. None of us were there. We don't know what happened or whatever the case may be. That's fair. And if you have a microphone and a camera in front of you, you have an obligation to say that. But in the same breath, what was I being attacked for? Ladies and gentlemen, if you would recall, what I said was, the man that I have known and I have been friends with for 25 years, there's no way I believe he's capable of something like that. See, the bigger issue is the damn punks that society has turned us into. You can say two things at once. You can say, I wasn't there, and I have no factual evidence to prove my position. But the person that I've known for 25 years, nah, I don't believe he would do that. I want a stake. I want to make sure that I'm clear, because I got friends and loved ones and people like that in my life. If y'all ever handle some stuff with me the way that some of these people handle this stuff with Jay-Z, y'all kiss my ass. And you go to hell. Because at the very least, somebody should be able to say, I've known Stephen A for 20, 25, 30 years, 40 years. What? Nah, I can't see him doing that. You just gonna go silent and just leave him hanging like that? When it ain't like he was silent. It ain't like he hiding and leaving others to talk for him. No, he spoke and said, I'm innocent. This is not true. And nobody can stand up and say, nah, that brother that I know, I can't see that. A 13-year-old girl. Yes, you are guilty. You are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. And we understand that in a court of public opinion, it's shifted in this day and age. You know what the sad part is? Some of you out there might have believed Jay-Z was totally innocent, but you know what? It wasn't clickbait to say that. So what you wanted to do was throw it out there and give a reaction for clickbait purposes.
Yeah, and that's the age that we're in, unfortunately. People are willing to run with the negative narrative before they get any ounce or shred of proof. Somebody asked me in the comments one of you all out there who follow me, and the only reason I know you follow is because I see you in the inbox or in my comment section often. So shout out to you. But somebody asked me, and I'm not gonna bring it up here, but somebody asked, he was like, in that last video I put together talking about this lawsuit and talking about the dismissal of it, I talked about how that it was going to be, I told y'all that it was going to be completely different than the P. Diddy lawsuit. I told you that Jay-Z was going to handle it. He had already started off handling it way differently. And I told you that it was going to go completely differently. And I told you that it was just a money grab. It was a cash grab, and it was stick-up time. They thought they got one over on P. Diddy. Let's see if we can get one over on you too. And somebody responded. They said, well, how do you know it was a cash grab? How do you know that Jay did not pay? How do you know he didn't pay this person off, this accuser off? And my response to that is, well, typically, I've never seen, y'all let me know, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm open to being wrong. I'm open to correction. Typically, though, when someone files a lawsuit against you, saying that you have done something, and you settle the lawsuit by paying money to that person, to the accuser, you don't typically turn around and then go back and sue the lawyer that was representing you. That typically doesn't happen. If this was a situation where I thought that Jay had paid this accuser off, I don't think that he would have come out and publicly made a statement like the one that Stephen A. just read and like the one that I read in that last video. You don't do that. You don't do that if you paid somebody off. You don't come out and be that arrogant with your response when you have just paid someone off as hush money, right? We all saw what happened with P. Diddy, and it didn't go that way. He got arrogant first. Then, once she came back and he found out, oh shit, this is getting real, I'm going to actually have to go before a judge. Then he wanted to pay the money and he shut up. But by then, of course, we all know that it was too late. But typically, you're not about to pay somebody off, pay the accuser off, and then turn right around and sue the lawyer that represented them in court. You're not going to do that. What am I talking about? Well, Jay-Z is filing a $20 million lawsuit against Tony Buzbee, which is the same lawyer that has all these cases that have been racked up against P. Diddy. He has been kind of like the spearhead and the spokesperson type of, as far as lawsuits go, for people and victims to come to. They have run to him, and he has pretty much done their bidding in the court of law. And so he thought that he could do the same thing with Jay. It didn't work. And the response to it has been oddly quiet out there. Oddly quiet. I agree with Stephen A. The response has been oddly quiet. The supporters that you would have expected to step up and say something have not really said anything. They didn't say anything about it. But before I read this article, which details a lot of the fallout and the backlash of such a claim against Jay, I want to say something else. The way that he responded already let me know how this case was about to be handled. He wasn't going for it. And let me say this too. A 13-year-old at the VMAs in the year 2000 said that she had been assaulted. What the hell is your 13-year-old daughter doing out alone by herself and even allowed to be in the predicament or situation where something like this could possibly happen at age 13? At age 13, you need to have your ass in the house. Why are you claiming that you somewhere getting drugged up and seduced by grown-ass men? But I told y'all that this woman was lying. I told y'all that her argument was falling apart literally on air as she was speaking. And right after that, the world picked her argument apart, and it wasn't hard. His lawyers went ahead. I told you it was going to be a slaughter fest if this actually got to trial. It was going to be a slaughter. They were going to set her out to pasture and put her out of her misery. But it didn't get that far. She realized this shit ain't going to work. I've already lied too many times. I've already told 3 different versions of the story. And every time somebody asks me to get on the stand or get in front of a microphone or a camera to repeat it again, it comes out with another version. She knew it was not going to work. But let's read this a little bit. It says Jay-Z sues attorney Tony Buzbee over false allegations, claims $20 million in losses. So, hip-hop mogul Sean Jay-Z Carter has taken legal action against Texas-based attorney Tony Buzbee, accusing him of defamation, civil extortion, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. The lawsuit follows the dismissal of rape case filed against Jay-Z and fellow music executive Sean Diddy Combs in October 2024. Jay-Z claims that the false allegations strategically filed the night before his daughter Blue Ivy's highly anticipated Mufasa the Lion King movie premiere resulted in several personal and financial damage, including the loss of $20 million in business contracts. I want to read a little bit more of this. We already know this details right here. This details the lawsuit, right? But we already know about the lawsuit, so I'm not going to read that part. What I will do, though, is go down to the impact. So it says the impact on Blue Ivy's movie premiere. Jay-Z's legal declaration filed on February 10th in Los Angeles details how the lawsuit's timing forced him to make a heartbreaking choice. He says, and I quote, "I felt that Mr. Buzbee was placing a gun to my head that I either bow to his demands or endure personal and financial ruin." End quote. According to Jay-Z, the lawsuit was strategically filed just hours before that premiere, the big night at the premiere of Mufasa the Lion King. As a proud father, he wanted to support his daughter's milestone moment, but the cloud of the allegations threatened to overshadow the event. And I'm sure, I spoke about it in the last video, I'm sure that he was standing there struggling and going back and forth with, man, do I pop out with my daughter and my wife to support her at her movie premiere, or do I sit back because all of these wild allegations are against me? I know the cameras are going to be zoomed in on me. Everybody's going to be talking about this. I don't want this to overshadow my daughter's event. I'm pretty sure, I'm certain that he went back and forth in his own mind arguing about whether or not to go or not. And ultimately, we see what happened. He did pop out with his wife and his daughter. He showed face. Proud dad moment. And I'm glad he did. And I'm going to read this last part. It says $20 million in lost contracts and emotional distress. Beyond the personal toll. So can we get these feet out of, why are somebody's feet right there? Jesus Christ. Beyond the personal troll, Jay-Z asserts that the false allegations cost him $20 million in lost contracts. The scandal allegedly led to canceled business deals and endorsements as companies distanced themselves amid the controversy. The rapper, entrepreneur, and philanthropist also described the immense psychological strain he endured, stating that the lawsuit forced him into hiding to avoid the negative media attention. The emotional distress, he claims, was a calculated attack on his career and his legacy. So, and then here it just details some of the other legal history and controversies that this lawyer, Tony Buzbee, has been wrapped up and involved with. But aside from that, I am so very glad that Jay-Z decided to countersue this lawyer, because I think that I think an example needs to be made. And it's a shame, let me say this too, it's a shame that he can't sue the actual woman, because we never found out who she was. I'm pretty sure he knows who she is now. But it's a shame that we can't countersue her directly for all the damage that she has caused, emotional, financial, to his relationship, whatever. It's a shame that he can't countersue her, but we will settle for suing your lawyer, because I think an example needs to be made out of these ticky-tack lawyers who come in and they know that these are, some of these cases are frivolous lawsuits that don't really have any merit whatsoever, but they still go ahead because they know, one, it's a high-powered client involved, or high-powered individual who is widely recognized in media, such as Jay-Z. Two, they know that their name is going to be embroiled within this lawsuit, which is going to boost their superstar status in the legal world. And then three, it just goes to further destroy and put somebody out there in the press, destroy their legacy, destroy their career, destroy what they've built and what they're trying to build in the future. I want this to be an example made out of Tony Buzbee. I hope he gets every red cent that he sues for. And I hope that other lawyers look at this and say, oh, okay, the next case that I take, maybe I need to have all of my ducks in a row before I go ahead and try to prosecute somebody on wild allegations that have no merit, that have a ticky-tack story involved that doesn't really stand up in the spotlight. And I want examples made out of people like Tony Buzbee. These really just, he called him a 1-800 lawyer, and that's really what he looks like anytime I see him. But it's really true. And so, to answer the question of the person who asked me in the first place, why do I think that Jay didn't pay any money? This is why. You don't turn around and sue the lawyer of the person that you just paid off to keep this case on the hush, to keep the details on the hush, and to essentially squash the case. You don't turn right around and sue that lawyer. That's not going to happen. So I 1000% believe that this was a cash grab from the beginning, and now hopefully we can have an example made out of people and dirty little lawyers like Tony Buzbee. But anyway, listen, y'all, let me know what y'all think down in the comments. Thank you for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.